Welcome to the Wonder Boldly podcast, hosted by yours truly, Christine. I am going to encourage and motivate you to take action towards your big goals. I'm going to teach you everything I've learned from building a very successful 25-year career, coaching people, and starting my own online business. I am going to give you so many action items. You are going to be able to wonder boldly. Thank you, Robyn, so much for joining me today on the Wonder Boldly podcast. I'm so happy to have you. Robyn and I met in a mastermind. I have to always think, I'm like, where did we meet? In a mastermind. And I've just been following along on Robyn's Instagram, and she is just so inspiring. And I'll let her obviously tell you her story. But just watching, and she's so inspiring, and her clients are so lucky to have her. I cannot tell you, like when I see her journey that she shares and the messages that she shares with her clients, I'm like, oh my gosh, we have to get this message out. So I reached out to her and I said, how can I support? Let's have you on the podcast. I want my audience to hear your story and what you do so that we can get you, Robyn, into more people's living rooms, hearts, hands, because you just have just such an amazing story. And I know there's so many people out there that you're helping, and even more that you can help. So thank you so much, Robyn, for being with me here today.
And thank you, Christine, for having me. This is a privilege, so thank you.
Absolutely. So tell us what your business is and your story and how you started out.
I am a weight loss and wellness coach to women over 50, and I'm over 50 because that's exactly when I lost my weight, was after 50.
Interesting. What made you decide to lose the weight? Like, how was that journey for you getting to that point?
Well, actually, I worked in corporate America for 21 years, and I had no idea that I was going to be leaving that. But when I was 50, my back went out and I was not able to sit down for any length of time. So lying down or standing were my only options. And I couldn't clean my house, and I couldn't hold my then 4-month-old grandson. And that really was the tipping point for me. One evening, my husband and I were watching him. My husband had to run an errand, so he'd put my grandson in the pack and play. I wasn't really able to, I couldn't lift him or anything. And soon after my husband left, he started crying. And I kept going back to the window to see if my husband was coming. And I went to the pack and play to my grandson, and I was able to pat him. But, and I just said to him, Nana, so sorry, it's going to be okay. And it just broke my heart. And, he was crying and I ended up crying. That was one of the pivotal points for me that I knew I needed to change and take some action in my life.
Oh, what a sweet story. I'm sorry that you went through that. That's sad for sure.
Yeah, I felt so powerless and useless. And it just really resonated that I just needed to make a change in my life.
And so what was your next step from there?
Well, really, I needed to heal. So it took me several months to heal, but I knew I needed to lose weight. And I started dabbling with ideas and things, and I was researching because, I've been on, probably hundreds of diets, and the standard American diet just did not work for me. And I knew it had to be something different, but it also had to be something where I wasn't thinking about food all the time, because I felt like I always was thinking about food or eating, or, with the breakfast, lunch, and dinner with snacks in between. And that just kept me on a hamster wheel. So that's really, I noticed there were 4 patterns in myself that I kept repeating over and over. And if you're anything like me, the old ways just weren't working. And this is how I came up with my own Polk method, learning how to be personally accountable to the excuses and the behaviors and the patterns that had kept me held back for so long, having an open dialogue with, about feelings and the cravings, listening to my body cues, because the signals and the signs were there. I just really never paid attention to them. And then listening, or the key behavior and mindset shifts that got me there, and learning how to new ways to talk to myself.
Mm. And did you have support along the way?
Not really. It was at the time, it was before the pandemic, but yet in a way, I felt like I was, I don't know the word, isolated, I guess, because, I couldn't go to work. I couldn't sit in the car. My husband and I couldn't go to dinner. I couldn't hold the grandkid. And it was very much a struggle for me. And I would say I had a little bit of a low grade depression because just trying to get through that time. But, researching and listening to podcasts, and I did everything I possibly could to change my mindset and my perspective, because it just, it doesn't even resemble, I don't feel like I even resemble the person I was before, so, I always thought that this was all done to me, not rather than for me. And, not knowing that if I really stuck to it and took the action and just kept going without quitting, that it really would be possible for me.
How much weight did you end up losing?
I've lost 70 pounds, and I've maintained that for a little over 5 years now. So,
God, that is so amazing. How would you say, give yourself like 3 adjectives now, 3 adjectives that describe you when you think of what you've accomplished?
proud. You got me stumped there. I mean, really, that's the biggest thing I can think. I'm proud of myself because I just didn't ever think that this was possible for me. I had always resolved that I was just always going to be the fat girl, and that was just the way it was going to be. I think once you really decide that, if I don't take action and if I don't stay in action, then it's not going to be possible, because that's always the way it was before. So,
And how do you help your clients?
well, right now I'm doing one-on-one coaching, and it's all a little bit individualized because we're all different. That's kind of the thing. I thought that this is more this diet, quote unquote, diet, it's your diet. It's going to be eating the foods you eat and things like that, and then changing your mindset along the way, because that is probably one of the biggest pieces that needs to be changed. And that's what we work on a lot. The diet piece, of course, we get started on that, but then, weekly we meet to start changing the way you think and the way you feel about yourself, the way you speak to yourself.
That really could help a lot of people. The way we speak to ourselves, we always say how we speak harsher like we would never speak to somebody else, how we speak to ourselves. So I'm trying to say, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing. Working with your clients, what is the biggest aha moment for them, or transition, or something that you see as their coach from an outsider perspective? What would you say is something that you see a big transformation for them?
Definitely in their mindset. Yeah, because I think when, they're very unsure when they start, like, can I really do this? And, I can assure them that they can do it, but it's really taking that piece on themselves to know, they really can do this. If you, dedicate your time to it and plan for it, and, make yourself the priority. I think most of us, especially over 50, have always taken care of our families first and put ourselves last. I think they're very surprised when they take care of themselves first and start changing the way they feel and the way they look, that, they become different people.
Yeah, absolutely. And so how do clients find you? How can people find you and work with you and all that good stuff?
Yes, they can find me on Instagram at Robyn, ROBYN.Polk, and also on Facebook at Robyn Polk.
And do you have a Facebook group or anything like that?
I do have a Facebook group, and that's Weight Loss and Wellness Over 50.
Nice. And is that a public group, or is that part of a membership, or how does that work?
Nope, it's a free private group though. So it's just for women over 50. So we keep it private. So, all of our conversations are private and things like that.
Nice. And tell us a little bit about the behind the scenes. So what your husband must be so proud of you. Like, what your family? I've met your daughter in the mastermind, actually, now that I think of it, right? Tell us a little bit about behind the scenes.
It's funny because when I started losing weight, I didn't tell anybody. I just started. And he didn't even really notice. We had gone out shopping and we saw one of his brothers out and he said, "Oh, you look really good." And I said, "Yeah, I've lost about 25 pounds." And my husband looked a little perplexed. He's always been so supportive of me. He's loved me whether I was overweight. He's loved me while I was thin. But, honestly, Christine, the biggest compliment he gave me last year was we took a picture. We were at a restaurant together and took a picture. And he said, "You're so happy," when he saw the picture. That truly was probably the biggest thing ever. And yeah, and everybody, I do feel like my family is so proud of me because it just, like I said, I never thought it was possible for me. So even my dad is still alive. So, he tells me all the time, "I'm so proud of you." So, I know it always mattered to him that I lose weight and that I'm healthy for my family, because that's what it's all about, is being healthy for you first, but so you can take care of the rest of your family.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's beautiful. I got chills. Those are like quotes. You probably have them somewhere, like the quote from your dad and the quote from your husband. You should like have somewhere. I don't know, framed or something.
Maybe
I don't
so.
know. That's absolutely beautiful. Well, thank you so much for your time. Is there anything that you would like to share with the audience before we go? So on the Wonder Boldly podcast, I always promise my audience members I'm going to give them action items. It can be 1, it can be 3, it can be whatever. So if somebody's listening and they're thinking about losing weight or wondering if it's possible for them, what would be an action item that you would give them?
The action item would be to figure out your why. Why do you want to lose weight? And there may be several reasons, but you need to list them and then also, go a little bit deeper. Why do you want to lose weight? It's for your health. Why do you want to be healthy? For my kids, why do you want to be healthy for your kids? And just keep going deeper until, I call it a why that makes you cry, to make you want to make the changes in your life. And it is possible, because if I know it's so cliche, if I can do it, anybody can do it. But I really truly feel that way, that if you commit to it, you can do it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Robyn. Thank you so much for your time and sharing. And I will put all the links in the show notes for sure, so people can find you. And I also wanted to mention you have I'm going to say it's a questionnaire. I clicked on it, where people can fill out and kind of ask themselves, like, is this something I'm ready to do? You have is it a questionnaire?
It is. It's a quiz. It's the Are You Ready for Weight Loss quiz.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
Absolutely. Yep. They can take that, and it's absolutely free as well.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Christine, for this. This has been amazing.
Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, continue to wonder boldly.